The ghost robbers of Nairobi, Nairobi at night is a living thing alive with headlights, moving shadows, and the quiet hum of a city that refuses to sleep, but in the early 2000s. The city faced a strange wave of crimes so bizarre that even the police couldn't explain them. It started in the crowded streets of Eastlands, where people lived close, doors rarely locked, and neighbors knew one another by name. One warm evening, a woman named Mama Chirona was closing her kiosk when she felt a cold shiver run down her spine. The street was almost empty, except for a man standing under a flickering streetlight. He wasn't moving. He wasn't speaking. Just staring. Before she could call out, she felt her legs go weak as if her body no longer belonged to her. Her eyes remained open. Her mind was awake, but she could not move. A shadow slipped past her. Then another, and another. Hands reached into her pockets. Into her kiosk drawers. She felt everything, but could do nothing. When her body returned hours later, everything was gone: money, phone, food stock, but the door was still locked from the inside. The claim spread days later. A month the driver swore he had been robbed while still sitting behind the steering wheel. He remembered seeing the figures approaching, then feeling his mind drift into darkness. Though his eyes remained wide open, a shopkeeper claimed he watched 3 boys steal from his safe while his body refused to move an inch. A boda rider froze mid-motion, his hand still gripping the handlebar. While a group of thieves quietly cleaned out his pockets, every victim described the same thing: cold wave, sudden paralysis, shadows moving around them, and absolute silence. Some said the thieves whispered in a language they had never heard. Others insisted the robbers walked without sound, no footsteps, no breathing. The police tried to investigate, but there were no fingerprints, no forced entries, and no suspects. Only stories, ghostly stories. The night of the chase one. Night, a young officer named Camo decided to investigate on his own. He had heard enough tales of ghost robbers and believed they were simply highly trained criminals using fear and tricks around midnight, near the old railway line. Camo spotted a man standing unnaturally still beneath a billboard, the same posture described by previous victims. Camo stepped closer. His heart pounded. His hand reached for his flashlight. Suddenly, 3 figures emerged behind him. Camo turned sharply, then everything stopped. It felt as if invisible hands pressed against his body, freezing him in place. His breath shortened. His muscles tightened. He tried to shout, but his voice refused to obey. A shadowed figure leaned close to his face and whispered, "Sleep." The world dimmed. When Camo woke up, his radio, his wallet, his badge, and even his handcuffs were gone. He had become another victim. The truth bore an illusion. Rumors spread across Nairobi that the robbers were using witchcraft Pepo Wizzy. The wind of theft. Others believed they were experts in hypnosis. A few thought they were supernatural beings who walked between worlds. Eventually, police discovered hints that a well-organized group of criminals used distraction techniques, paralyzing sprays fast. Silent coordination, but there were still cases that could not be explained. People who were robbed without anyone touching them, people who heard whispers yet saw no one, people who stood frozen for hours under a silent spell. Even today, many Nairobians swear they were victims of the ghost robbers, criminals who moved like shadows and left no trace. And whenever a sudden cold breeze blows through the crowded streets at night, people still check their pockets, because in Nairobi, some shadows are not what they seem.